Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You know, I wanted to have a conversation today, a little bit loose, a little bit free-flowing commentary here. Nothing scripted, but a lot of things have been on my mind, some raw data that we should probably go over. But I've noticed this trend lately where we get a lot of these Destiny creators are starting to say, you know what? I think I'm going to take a little break, or I'm going to step away indefinitely. And I wondered, what might be causing that? Where do we go from here? Is it an indicator of anything, extreme with the game? Is it an indicator of the quality of the game? Is it an indicator? Does it represent the decisions of the player base as a whole, or is it just a creator issue? I wanted to break that down a little bit today and just have a genuine conversation about this. It's certainly not an anti-Destiny video or a Destiny hate video. Far from that. I'd be the first one to admit that the final shape came out swinging. It overperformed in terms of our expectations, or at least my expectations, and was very pleased with that product. And the raid and the activities, I'm still playing. I'm playing a lot of I'm playing a lot of PvE, which is abnormal for me. Normally, I'm falling back into Crucible routines by this point. Normally, weeks ago, I would have fallen back into Crucible routines after a major DLC drop. But right now, I'm playing far more PvE than I am PvP. But anyways, I want to chat about this a little bit. Let's kind of set the groundwork. You clicked on the video because I talked about creators. Let's start here. We got SirDimetrious, a wonderful member of our Destiny community. Has been very committed to the Destiny community for a very long time. An old friend. I have only positive things to say about SirD as a creator and a member of our community. But, he recently, just this past weekend, tweeted this out. He said, I might still make some Destiny 2 videos, but after the next upload, variety is going to be the main focus. Maybe I even make a second channel to upload Destiny stuff too. I'm not sure. But I've been ready to move on for some time, but I stuck it out until the final shape. I think that's key. I think that is actually indicative of the way many of us feel actually right now. A lot of us were along for the ride until the conclusion of this 10-year saga, the wrap-up of the final shape, and use that as a great sort of a capstone to end our Destiny experience for the time being, and then move on to other things in the meantime. There are plenty of other things. He says he feels like he's just reached a dead end creatively, and variety videos have done really well. I want to talk about that for a second, before we move on to other creators, what they're saying, what they're doing. But here's the reality. As a creator, you obviously need views to pay your bills, feed your family. And right now, it just doesn't feel like the views are with Destiny. And I think it has a lot to do with what SirD said here about sticking it out until the final shape. A lot of viewers, just general gamers who aren't content creators, I think that they stuck it out until the final shape was over, and then they moved on. And I think that's reflected here. You look at Steam charts, and final shape did very well. I mean, peak player here count of 314,000 on Steam alone, which is phenomenal. It's just barely under the Lightfall peak. I think it would have been higher if we didn't have all those day one issues where people just couldn't play, because the peak here, 316,000, says February. Lightfall launched on February 28th. So it was like, the day one peak of 316,000. So the fact that we didn't get that here with Lightfall, I think is just because the servers were so botched on launch. But it did very well. But then here's what you see is you compare the February 2023 drop-off. We went from 316,000, and then we dropped down the next month to 47,000 in April. Because, like I said, it launched February 28th. So it's basically a March DLC, which is why you see this 62,000 jump and then a drop, a fall off after that of 42K. And you look at the final shape here, and our drop off the following month is much greater. It's 57,000, almost 58,000 player drop off on Steam alone. And our new peak, 111,000, we wouldn't get that low after Lightfall for another 4 months. 4 months after Lightfall launched. And with the final shape, we're that low 1 month later. So it's a much faster plummet in terms of player count, after the final shape compared to Lightfall. And so as a content creator, you're thinking, what kind of content do I want to make? Well, here's the thing. You look at the current numbers. This is live numbers for Destiny 2, Crucible, and Trials. Together, 9%. It used to be you know, in the not so distant past, so it used to be a 60-40 split where 60% of the community was actively playing PvE content, 40% of the community was actively involved in PvP content. So, you know, it was much closer to equal. So if you were a PvP content creator between Trials and Crucible, you had a lot of people involved in those activities, looking up content, interested in that kind of content, and the YouTube algorithm is trying to understand the viewers and knows they like PvP content for Destiny. They're putting that content in front of people. If you're a PvP content creator right now in Destiny, you're not eating very well, right? The population is so small, you know, and as a creator, you have to understand how algorithms work. That's a big part of it too. Let me give you a raw example. So right now for me, when I upload a Destiny PvP-oriented video, like last week I uploaded a video about a gun in PvP and what it can do. And, you know, a little over 20,000 views on that. My channel has over 300,000 subscribers, and you're looking at 20,000 views on your bread and butter content. But my variety channel has, look at this, it doesn't even have 7,000 subscribers. I've uploaded 69 videos there. Nice. But it doesn't even have 7,000 subscribers. 6,700 subs on the variety channel. But where are the viewers at? Last week and the week before, I made some First Ascendant content. And even though I have less than 7,000 subs, I was getting, you know, like 64,000 views on this video, 55,000 views on this video, 21K. When I covered Remnant, again, I had fewer subs than this covering Remnant. I was down at like 3,000 subs back then. 66,000 views on this one, 63, 61 on a channel with, you know, just a few grand subs. So subscriber count doesn't matter like it used to. You know, YouTube has moved away from just saying, oh, you've subscribed to this person, let's make sure their content's in front of you. What they have moved to is, oh, you clicked on this video, let's see what other kind of videos are out there that could grab your attention, because they want viewer retention. They want you watching videos, more videos for longer periods of time. So it's really trend heavy. Like, what are you into right now? That's what it wants to put in front of you, not the people you said, I want to subscribe to these people. So Destiny, boom. Not a lot of people. Not a lot of people playing. Not a lot of people watching Destiny content. Variety. You don't need a lot of subs. It can pop off. You know, in these videos, for example, 64,000 views here, that's $300 for one afternoon's worth of work. You compare that to a weapon review in Destiny where you're doing a whole lot of prep work, grinding out matches, recording gameplay, editing that gameplay, looking at the raw data of the weapon, breaking it down, posting a review, and you're now you know, 8 to 10 hours of work for that one video, and you make $80 for it. You know, that's the thing. So am I surprised that Destiny creators are saying, I want to move to variety? Not at all. Because variety is how they can, you know, make enough money to cover their bills, pay their bills, feed their families, take care of their spouse, save for retirement, all that stuff. And then you've got Gernader Jake here, and this is something that he posted last week. He said, I've always valued transparency, so let's get transparent. For the first time in a very long time, I'm not sure what the future of my stream looks like. Final shape hype is wearing off. It has worn off. I don't think it is. It has worn off. And this is the first time there isn't a promise or even any expected hype for the future of Destiny. So what does that mean for me? Well, it's no surprise, but Trials has been my primary focus since 2015. Build a strong system around it. Yes, he has. All my stream numbers are up while I play it. Yes, they are. And I genuinely enjoy it far more than anything else I've ever streamed. I love doing Trials carries, which is why I built my entire platform on it. Yep. It says, well, in order for Trials to be enjoyable, playlist needs to be populated. Guess what? It's not. 4%. You look at Destiny Trials report right now, and at the time that I'm recording this, Trials is basically over. We've got less than a day left for this rotation. Sitting at 127,000 players total have interacted with it. At this point, that's almost all of them. The only people who are going to continue to play at this point are trying to grind for something in particular, or they just live in Trials every week, so they're just constantly there anyways. So you're not going to see that number go up much, if at all. People playing right now, there's only 140 matches of 3v3, you know, trio v trios right now. Only less than 4,000 players actively playing, and that's not great. Compare that to previous weeks, you know. last week was down 23%, and it had 217,000 players. We're not going to reach that this week. You know, we're currently 100,000 less than that, and I don't see it getting a whole lot better. It'll get closer to that, but it won't change much. But you don't want to see all red arrows and then the following week see more red arrows this close after a major release. Because normally what happens is your ritual activities are the things that carry you in the lean seasons, the lean times of the seasons where you've had a major content drop and everyone was doing story content, you know, and raids for a few weeks. And then once that sort of dies down, everyone's played all the story stuff, then they start to fall back into these standard ritual activities like Crucible, like Strikes, like Trials of Osiris. So we should be seeing these numbers much higher than they are, and they're just not there. So if Jake's going to have fun and he's going to have people interested in playing with him and being involved in the raffles, and he wants to actually help them out, it's hard to help people out when you're actively putting them in a playlist with very few players where the number of people that are stacked is much greater. He's got to try and help players go flawless for the first time ever, and they're playing against this tiny itty-bitty number of trios. Most likely they're going to play a lot of the same teams over and over again, and especially when you're a streamer like Jake, that means stream snipers. So it creates a genuine challenge to make that kind of content. And you might say, why should I care about a streamer's woes? And I understand that. It's very easy to say, that's not me. I'm not a part of that. Why should I care? But here's the very true reality of it is that Gernader Jake has built a very large community, right? And if Jake moves on to cover other things and play other things and make other content, guess what's going to happen to his trials-based community? A lot of them are just going to migrate with him and be involved in the thing that, because I will say this about Jake, whether you like him or not, the man has created a very tight-knit community. Like, people who are part of Gernader Jake's community are diehards. And that's a real boon to him. And I think that's credit where it's due. He's done an incredible job at that. Where a lot of creators would move on to variety content or something else, and a lot of their community would not follow them because they're not interested in it. Jake has built a platform around community. They'll go. They'll stay a part of this group that they feel like they belong to. So it's going to have a serious impact on the population of the game, of PvP, of Trials of Osiris, when people like him continue to move on, right? And that's why it would affect you, because your matchmaking quality takes a hit. Your queue times get longer. All that stuff are adverse effects of people like Jake with big communities moving on. So is Destiny 2 like a bad game? No. 111,000 as your peak concurrent count is far from bad. The game is still chugging along. It's still got more content coming out. We've still got another exotic mission coming out next episode, or the next chapter, act. I knew the word would come to me. When we get to Act 3, and they're hyping that up quite a bit. So looking forward to that. There's still people playing. It's not like it's a dead game or anything. Is it thriving? No. Are creators noticing? Yes. Are creators moving on? Yes, they are. You've even got people like Astacross and his whole team starting to cover other stuff too. Prepping for Remnant, making videos on the future of the channel and Destiny and the franchise. Making videos on No Man's Sky. Heck, Titanfall too, even. You got Paul Tassi making videos on the decline of Destiny, but then also First Ascendant, First Ascendant, First Ascendant. Creators are starting to feel like Destiny has reached its peak, and it is now in decline when it comes to viewer engagement. And I want to be clear about that, not like it reached its peak in terms of how good the game is. I think the game continues to be an excellent game. There's no doubt about that to me. But the longer this game carries on, the less viewer interaction you're going to get, because everything's much more solved, right? Gamers are to the point now where they've seen enough weapon reviews that they don't need somebody to tell them if a weapon is good or not, right? They know the tools that we use to review guns. They know those tools at this point now. They're going to go to the websites, light.gg or whatever, the weapon, gunsmith, D2 Foundry, all that stuff. They're going to look at the guns. They're going to look at the stats. They're going to compare them to other guns. They're going to see what perks are there. A lot of the perks are the same perks we've been using and reviewing for years now. So they don't need me to tell them if a gun is good anymore, right? and that's why weapon reviews have taken a serious hit. Even activity guides like Nightfalls and raids and stuff like that, my raid guides did very well. Like my PvE raid guides this time around for the final shape of the most watched content on my channel for Destiny 2 content in a very long time. For that, I'm very grateful. But even when it comes to raid guides, like, people just don't need you to tell them what to do as much as they used to, right? A lot of it is similar mechanics, especially when it comes to like the new seasonal stuff. We've been doing the seasonal model for a very long time. It used to be you could post a video on week 1 of like a new seasonal content drop and be like, here are the activities, here are the guns, here's how you level up the vendor for the season this time around, and how that all works. People know that now. They don't need me to make that video anymore. Destiny 2 is solved at this point. It is a very, very solved game. And there's things that will surprise us. You know, new exotic mission comes out and you got to figure out a new mechanic. That's really cool. But a lot of the mechanics are recycled and reused. The vendor systems, recycled and reused. It's solved at this point. So while gamers will continue to play Destiny, creators might not get as much bang for their buck out of the time investment it takes to make content, to make videos, to make tutorials, to make guides, put them out there. They're going to get, you know, increasingly fewer and fewer views on that kind of content the more people understand the game. And the game's been out since 2017. I've been in the camp of a hard reset for a very long time. For probably like 2 years now, I've said it would be my preference that we get an announcement at some point that Destiny 3 is happening. At this point, I wouldn't expect that to happen for years. But I do think that the game does need a dramatic shakeup in the form of a brand new game, right? You think of something like the Halo franchise. Halo Combat Evolved came out in 2001, and it was a big deal, right? Huge deal. Shook up the whole gaming industry. Following that in 2004, just 3 years later, Halo 2 dropped. And then just 4 years after that, in 2007, Halo 3 came out. And it was, again, it was a complete shakeup of the system, new technologies. Yeah, it was phenomenal, you know, the leaps forward we were taking with each new release. You think from 2001 to 2007, we went from Halo Combat Evolved to Halo 3. And you think about how much changed in that amount of time. Now you look at Destiny 2, which came out in 2017. 2017 release. It's now 2024, 7 years later, and it is still Destiny 2, as opposed to the jump from Halo Combat Evolved to Halo 3 in the same amount of time. Much more dramatic differences, and obviously then much more content to make because of it. So that's why I am still firmly in camp Destiny 3. I think Destiny 3 is the future of Destiny personally. You know, I think back, who was it? Was it Luke or was it Chris Barrett? One of them that said, we can just continue. There's no reason we can't just continue to develop Destiny 2 as a live service game. He's like, we've got all the tools just to keep it fresh and keep it updated. And it's not that I think that that was untrue. I just haven't seen the freshness that we wanted. It's not a big enough difference. You know what I mean? It's not a big enough difference from content drop to content drop. It's still more Destiny 2. And it's good. I mean, it's still good content. It's not different enough. I would love to see a Destiny 3, a complete shakeup. Leave the Destiny 2 servers on. You know, you spent 7+ years playing this game. You've acquired all this loot. You can keep it. Continue to play the activities. Continue to use those guns. But listen, eventually games end. Eventually you move on, right? It's just the way it goes. And I'm very firmly in camp, it's time to move on from Destiny 2. I would love to see a complete shakeup, all brand new. And I think that that excitement of the new, as long as it's done well, you know, better than D2 launched, as long as it's done well, the gamers, not just the creators, the general gamers are going to love that newness. They're going to love the mystery, innovation, being forward-thinking in gaming. That's what I want to see. Can only tread water for so long before your legs get tired, you start to flounder and drown. And I feel like we've been treading water for a very long time in Destiny 2. It's not to say the new content is bad. I loved the final shape. Thought it was incredible. Thought it was innovative. It was more Destiny 2, but it was very, very good. But look at the staying power. Staying power is not there. It's just not there. Great one-off content drop where the peak player count went way up. People had fun. People played it, and then they were done with it, and now we're way down again. So yeah, what's the future of Destiny 2? I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, we have to wait and see what Frontiers is about. It could be some form of a reset where you leave the solar system, you gotta leave your vault behind as you push out into new frontiers. Maybe it's a tether point, you can come back. Maybe it's like a different version of the game that you launch. I don't even know, but maybe they're separate things and they don't overlap, even though it's more Destiny 2. I don't know how they're gonna manage that. Anyways, those are my thoughts for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, leave a like in it so I know to make more conversational content like this. Thanks so much for your support on my Destiny content. It really does mean the world to me because it's what allows me to feed my family and pay my bills. So I appreciate each and every person who clicks on my videos and interacts with them and supports the content in any way, shape, or form. Also, feel free to check out my variety channel. I'll continue to make more variety videos because, I mean, they do really well. I'd love to see you over there sometime. Be warm and well fed, my friends, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.